Do you get a sense that Donald Trump has the DNA to do that? In other words, to be a unifier, to be magnanimous, to stop the name calling and that kind of stuff, because that is what holds a good many Americans back. They do like what he did in office, or a good many of them, but when it comes to pulling the lever and realizing that taunting and some of his less, warm and fuzzy parts, that's where they draw the line. What about you?
Well, look, I think there's two things I'd say in response to that, Neil. First, most Americans know judge a man not by his words, but by his actions. And for the better in Donald Trump's case, when you look at that first term, he kept us out of foreign wars and he grew the economy. Two things that Americans really wish for now with an economy where they've struggled and on the brink of potentially major conflicts around the world. Look at a man who's actually done the job. And for the first time in American history, we have, and I say this as a scientist, as somebody at least who was in the biotech world, a controlled experiment, okay? You have 4 years of Biden and you have 4 years of Trump. Compare the two when it comes to international stability, economic growth, and border security. People will be able to make their choice based on results and action. But to your point about words and even about communication, I thought the way that Trump actually handled that press conference, that announcement after the Supreme Court decision, was actually elegant and, dare I say, inspiring for the country, casting that decision as a decision about national unity. And that's actually what it was. The Supreme Court basically said, are we one nation? If we are, we have to be one nation that elects one president on all of the ballots. All the candidates have to be listed, or else we're not a country, we're a patchwork of states. And I think Donald Trump came off of that not with a message of grievance, but with a message going to the heart of what that ruling on Monday was all about. It was about national unity. So yes, most importantly in the context of action and track record, and you have that controlled experiment of 4 years of Trump versus 4 years of Biden, that's what's most important. But even in these recent weeks, talking about the importance of free speech and national unity, I do think that's been the correct step in a right direction that could deliver that unifying landslide, Neil. And I'm going to do everything in my part to make that happen as well, and I'm optimistic for what can happen.